Let's talk about designing your own targets, printing them off, and the kind of paper you should use. Now, on the get-go here, I want to say that these are primarily designed for air guns, but you could probably use some of them, or most of them, up to 243 caliber if you want to shoot a real rifle or a real pistol. You could go up to like 243. Any 22 would probably work as well. I shoot air guns 177 caliber because it's just what I prefer. It doesn't really make much difference. Anyway, here you see a blank piece of white cardstock. I prefer to use cardstock because it gives a cleaner hole. Now, granted, it's a little more expensive, but in the long run, I think it works a little bit better than regular paper, because regular paper tends to tear. Now, you don't have to use. I use the white cardstock more than I do the colored cardstock. But if you want to, you can go ahead and use your neon colors like that, if that's your preference. Anyway, I had some gray paper that I used up, and let's get into the design of them and things that you can do. Now, you can actually produce your own with any paint program. There are a lot of them online if you don't have one. A lot of them, they're free. The only thing that you have to remember is that you have to use the rulers or the grid markers on the paper or on the program when you do them, so that you can actually get your half-inch or whatever circles or 1-inch circles you want, whatever. Okay, let's go on with the designs now. Here's one that I did that's just a bunch of octagons put together. You can do you can use this however you want. A lot of times I prefer to put multiple targets on the same sheet of paper, so I don't have to get too confused. I can put like 3 rounds into each one, like this one, and then just go on down. Okay. Here's one with 4. It's also an octagon, and a larger octagon for if you want to use a rifle, a regular rifle with a regular powder, whatever you want to call it. Now that's another octagon. Then we have one like this. It's round. Those are 1/2 inch. These are all 1/2 inch rings. And that one has a red dot in the middle. Black and white, just plain black and white targets are usually a lot cheaper to produce, especially if you're doing a lot of ink. Now that one I put a red dot in the middle, but it can be black if you want it black. Same thing here. Here's a little bit different one. It's got a larger bowl. Now we're going to get into the color here. Any of these that you see from here on out can also be done in black and white. Here's another one. There's tons of them here. I've got about 50 of them, and so you can just take your pick of whichever ones you want. There's a different one. I use yellow a lot because yellow is probably the brightest color there is, and your shots will show up relatively easy on them. There's another multiple, another large one. Now this one would be hard to see unless you've got something to do it with, but I just did it to show that there are different colors you can use. I would prefer a lighter blue on that one, but I just did that one. Here's another multiple. This is for very close range. I would say that I would go no more than 25 feet with this one, for the simple fact that those are 1/4 inch rings. There's another one that shows up pretty well. There's one for longer range, and another one for longer range. Here's another multiple, and another multiple. That one has a 1/2 inch grid. There's another multiple in squares, and a diamond. I don't know what use this one would be, but I just made it just for chuckles. I do these when I'm sitting at home at night with nothing really to do. I don't watch a lot of television. I just sit on the computer and design these. Sometimes some work, some don't. This one probably wouldn't work much. Anyway, there it is. hexagons, and what I call the Maltese cross. And you want to have a little bit of fun, you can make flowers with bullseyes in them. Here's another hexagon with another cross in it. And then I have what I call the clock. I think this is only one here, yeah. This is on very heavy cardstock. So you can see that it's 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Here's another Flight of Fancy. You can shoot the yellows, or you can shoot the red dots around the outside. Whoops. Around the outside of it. And then you have the bull here, and you got the little red dots here that you can shoot each one of them. There's another Flight of Fancy. It's just a big blob, or a splat as I call it. And another Flight of Fancy. And a cross. And another Flight of Fancy. Now, with the program that you have or select or whatever, I use Paint Shop Pro number 9, the most recent edition. So you can do graduated colors and things like that. And here's one that you can do that you don't need rings on because the rings are kind of already there. And then here's a pentagon. And you can see that you're going to have a bull right there in the middle of them. And here's a circle. And another way to do the graduated in a circle. And then we get into, if you want to have a little bit more fun, you know, and just kind of chuckle when you shoot, you can do something like this. That's a rattlesnake, okay. And then we have a woolly mammoth. And of course, one of everybody's favorite, a rat. That's one for the double. I mean, you can have a great big one for longer range. It looks a little bit like that. I'm going to hold it there, then I'm going to turn it sideways. And another rat. And if you don't, you know, a lot of people don't have rats where they live, so if they want to shoot rats, they can do this. And here's one that's one of my favorites. Kind of cute. You hate to put a hole in him. Here's a possum. Now, you people down south, you don't need to worry about it. You can find these everywhere, but people up north have a hard time finding possums. And an alligator. And then we have actual photographs. The rest of these are all actual photographs. Again, because a lot of people don't have these things to shoot at, the real ones, so they can do it this way. There's a groundhog. Another groundhog. A river rat. A water rat. And then we get to everybody's favorite. You like pigeons? There you go. These are full size, so you can put them at any distance you want away and have at them. That's one pigeon. There's another pigeon. And of course, another thing that you can shoot at if you want to, rattlesnakes. Now, these are expensive to print. I got to tell you, they're going to cost you probably somewhere between 25 and 35 cents a piece. But you know, you don't need to make a habit of shooting these, but they're fun to do every once in a while. Coyote. A crow. A squirrel. I'll just lay him down. and a jackrabbit. Now, if you really, really want to get into having some fun, there's a lot of evil people in the world, and I just went ahead and made a couple of these as a suggestion. You want to take a shot at Hitler? There you go. Or maybe Himmler, or Stalin, or you want two for the price of one? You got Hitler and Mussolini. Now, as I said, these are all for air guns for the most part, but you can use them with a small caliber rifle. 22, 220, 22, 250, 223, 243, 25, any of those would probably work as well. Okay, now I have one other thing to show you that I came up with, and I thought, why not? Well, let me put these away, and we will go into some of these. Okay, so you're probably thinking, well, what is that? Well, let me bring up this a little bit closer up here. That is one of those swim noodles, and the nice thing about these are, with an air gun, they're self-healing. You can use these for a long time, and when it gets old, what I have done is I've used fish line. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's there. You can use fish line, and it would be very difficult for you to hit that anyway, and it kind of keeps at any distance, it becomes invisible, and all you're going to see is this. Now, when they really get shot up bad, I cut out some wood circles, just laid this down in the wood and just drew a circle around it. And when these get really shot up bad, you can just peel this off of there. I just use a plain old wood glue, and when they get all shot up, you can just peel it off, stick another one on, and go at it. Okay, that's one size. You can make these any size you want. Here's a couple more different sizes. Taller or shorter, a little in between the two. And then if you want to go longer range or use a larger caliber, they make another one of those swim noodles that's larger like this. Okay, and you can put these any distance away that you want. Just remember to drill two little holes in here and put the string on, or the line or whatever, before you glue it on. Otherwise it's pretty hard to stick something down through there. Stick something down through in here. Okay, well, that's about it. I come up with a lot of different ideas for targets. In another video I'll show you the target stand that I made and what I use for that, and it breaks down into 3 different pieces, and most of them, and 2 of them lay flat, completely flat, so you can transport it if you take it out of your backyard or wherever you are. You can transport it anywhere you want to go. Okay, I guess that's it, and I'll see you a little bit later with the target stand. Bye-bye for now.